Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Andy, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons on why you really don't need full-frame cameras. Number 1 is the cost. Full-frame cameras usually cost a lot more than crop sensor camera, like these camera right here. And what you're getting out of it isn't always worth the price. You get a bigger sensor, I get that, but these cameras right here, they have a smaller sensor, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I love these cameras just as much as I loved any of my full-frame cameras. Maybe slightly more. If you guys don't want to spend that much money on a full frame camera, you should check out the crop sensor version of that brand. Right now, I'm in love with Fuji. The crop sensor in this just is so good. The second thing is weight and size. If you guys do street photography or even traveling photography, or just want to take your camera out with you, crop sensor is way better than a full frame. A full frame camera is huge, it's big, and when you're carrying it around, I'm just talking about the body too. If you add on a lens like a 50mm, even a 100 or 400mm, these are really big lenses and a really big camera body. If you just want to do like a 35mm, a good 35mm is a big lens, which means you're carrying a bigger setup. Look at how small this is. This is a crop sensor camera with a 23mm, which is a 35mm because it's crop sensor. I'll explain that in a second. But it is so small, so light, and when I'm carrying this around, I don't mind bringing it around with me every day when I'm traveling. Side note really quick on that 23mm, everything is based off a full frame sensor, which means this is a crop sensor, 23mm is 35mm equivalent in full frame. Back to the video. Third thing is camera capabilities. Okay, so let's say full frame gets you better low light performance. The Sony a7S III. Very unfair comparison, by the way, because that only has 12 megapixels. Full frame does give you a better ISO. It doesn't mean that crop sensor is so far behind that you're like, dude, I need all this ISO. You don't need all this ISO. You don't need the best low light capability, because a lot of time if you shoot in super low light anyways, if you're not thinking about lighting at all, the picture is not gonna look good regardless. Using a crop sensor, you're gonna be noticing lights in the picture, like a light shining at a person or a light from a store. And these will actually make you a better photographer because you're not just spraying and praying. You are actually considering what you're shooting. You're thinking about it, and then you're taking a shot, which ultimately is how you improve. Number 4 is lens selection. We had to go here. Full frame lens selection is so much more expensive than crop sensor. If you're even breaking the bank thinking about the camera body, and then you think about, I have to get another lens, or I have to get a lens to go with it. If you're looking at a full frame 50mm f1.2, it is more expensive than a crop sensor 50mm f1. That's insane, the fact that it's more expensive and this has a lower aperture. Even a 35mm, if you're looking at the comparison of it, you can totally see that the 35mm is more expensive than the crop sensor 35mm. If you want to have great image quality but not break your bank, crop sensor is ready to go in the lens collection. Number 5, image quality. One of the things that everybody would love when they're using full frame is that it comes out better. They say it looks better. The image quality on a full frame is just nicer, knowing that it's f2 is f2, 50mm is 50mm. It is all full frame. It's the base of it all. But that doesn't mean crop sensor is not good. Crop sensor has been growing and growing, and there's so many amazing cameras out there that you don't need a full frame because the quality of it is just as good. Especially if you're a photographer but you're not doing it professionally, like magazine shoots or super high quality res. You're just shooting for fun, doing street photography, traveling photography. You just want to post on Instagram or Twitter. You don't need a full frame camera for any of those reasons. So don't go and waste your money on those things. Image quality on these crop sensor are just perfect for any social media posting. These are the 2 cameras that I took with me on my trip to Japan, and I've shot so many pictures that I am so happy I got it. And I wasn't feeling tired of holding a huge camera around, and people weren't intimidating that I have a huge camera camera around. This just looks like a regular point and shoot camera, but it's a compact camera and it's small. A lot of people might think, he's just shooting for fun, but I'm really creating some cool pictures out of this small camera. I would love to discuss this with you guys in the comment below, so let me know if you guys are using a crop sensor, or you guys are using a full frame, or even just your thoughts on this subject. Other than that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because in here we do talk a lot about photography and videography, and sometimes we do chit chat about tech as well. If that's interesting to you, subscribe, hit that like button too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.